A brand new takedown is coming to Borderlands 3 called the Guardian Takedown, and boy are we excited that we're getting a new one, but you're going to want to be prepared, and today I'm going to tell you what weapons you're going to need and how to be super duper ready for when it goes live. This is LaserBolt and welcome to today's video, guys. Today we're going to be talking about the brand new takedown that's coming to Borderlands 3, and we're going to be primarily focusing on what weapons you're going to need, what type of builds are going to be helpful for this particular takedown, and what can we expect out of it, and how you could be 100% ready for when it comes out. You could definitely complete it on that same day. We will be live streaming this, guys, so if you guys haven't had a chance to follow us on Twitch, the link is down below. Make sure you guys go to our Twitch channel, hit us with that follow so you guys won't miss when we go live. If you guys do enjoy Borderlands content like this, drop a like, share this video with your friends, but without further ado, let's jump in and talk about the Guardian Breach. The brand new takedown, guys, will start June the 4th, so if you guys are trying to get ready for the Guardian takedown, June the 4th is when you guys should bring out all your gear. Talking about gears, let me tell you guys exactly what we're going to be covering in the video. We're going to be covering the enemies you're going to be facing. We're going to be covering weapons that I think are going to be very viable. We're also going to be covering anointments that I think are going to be crucial for you to actually do pretty good in this one. And I'm also going to be sharing with you guys some of the builds I already have built together for this particular content that will have you ready, almost 100% ready for when it goes live. So let's go ahead and get started and talk about the enemies that we'll be facing in the Guardian takedown. There are a total of 6 enemies that we've been able to compile from taking a look at some of the gameplay that was showcased. And these 6 enemies, what you really need to know primarily mostly about these enemies is that they all have the ability, or some of them have the ability of regenerating their shields. So you're definitely going to, just by this alone, you're going to definitely need to bring a weapon that's going to be able to knock down shields really fast and take them out. So the enemies we're talking about are the Spectrum, the Wraith, and the Herald. Now these 3 particular enemies, all of them are able to regenerate their shield. In addition to that, these are melee weapons. The biggest difference between the Spectrum, the Wraith, and the Herald is that the Herald does not have the ability to regenerate their health. That's the only difference. Now there is another enemy called the Sarah, which is an enemy that's mostly flying in the air, and it has long range, so you got to keep that in mind. But the Sarah does regenerate their shield, so you want to make sure you keep that in mind. Of course, like I said earlier, a weapon that brings down shields is going to be crucial for this particular takedown, so keep that in mind. Now, there are 2 more enemies, but these are going to be mini bosses. The first one I want to talk to you guys about is the Berserker. Now, the Berserker, he's a mini boss. Once again, close to minimum range. He usually likes to melee. And the thing to note about him is that he has armor health and also has a normal Guardian shield as health. So you want to make sure you keep that in mind. Shield health is extremely going to be very fundamental for this particular content. So once again, bringing a weapon that does really well with shield is going to be crucial. Now, the good thing about the Berserker is that he is not able to be possessed by souls. So that's actually pretty good. For those of you who don't know what the whole possession of souls means, it's like spawning other enemies. And that brings us into our other enemy that we're going to be talking about, and that is the Summoner. The Summoner is, once again, is another mini boss. But the difference between the Berserker and the Summoner is that the Summoner is able to summon souls that are going to buff other Guardians. So he is going to be a pain to deal with because there's going to be multiple enemies that are going to be summoned by him that we're going to have to contain. Now let's talk about the weapons I think that are going to be crucial for this build or for this particular content. One thing I do want to let you guys know that we were watching a little bit of what they showed during the episode, and we did notice that there was an enemy that was being able to summon stuff from the ground, and stuff that they were being summoned, or these large bubbles that were being summoned, were causing radiation damage to the player. So one thing that you might want to have in your inventory just to make sure you have it is the red suit. Now this is a legendary shield that makes you immune to radiation. So you want to keep that in mind, guys. The red suit might actually be very valuable when it comes to that. But now let's talk about weapons that I feel like are going to be really good for this particular content. After viewing the video quite a lot, I could tell that there's going to be a lot of blue bars and a lot of yellow bars. So that means a lot of shields and a lot of the yellow health. So, of course, one of the weapons you're definitely going to want to bring with you is the yellow cake. If you guys don't know where to get the yellow cake, these are exclusive legendary items to the Revenge of the Cartel. The yellow cake is a rocket launcher that's going to be extremely beneficial to you guys. especially to kill the enemy after you brought down the shields. Another weapon that I feel that's going to be pretty good is the OPQ system. Once again, another weapon from the Revenge of the Cartels. This is a very powerful assault rifle because it could also deal shock damage that will be very useful for the takedown. Another one that's going to be working pretty good is the Fish Slap. Now, the Fish Slap is a unique legendary grenade, and this one's actually going to be really good because it deals melee damage. While melee damage currently right now is not as good as it's supposed to be, they did say that they were going to be fixing it, and that fix was going to come at the time of the release of this takedown, so you might want to have it within your inventory. Now, if for some reason you guys don't have the Revenge of the Cartel and can't get those 3 weapons, let's talk about other weapons that are going to be very valuable for you guys. Of course, you're going to want to have these weapons at least Mayhem 6 or higher. So let's start off with the Sandhawk. The Sandhawk, of course, a very, very powerful sniper rifle that acts very similar to a SMG. So if you're thinking of a sniper rifle that you want to bring here, that's going to be fast fire rate and it's going to be doing a lot of damage, then the Sandhawk is definitely one you want to come with. Of course, you want to bring one that has shock and corrosive because that's the things that we're going to mostly be fighting with in this takedown. Another one that you want to consider is the Monarch. Now, the Monarch is a shotgun / assault rifle. It's just like the Dictator. It comes with the B-Pop mod that gives you even more firepower. The cool thing about the Monarch is that it also comes in shock and corrosive, so you're definitely going to want to bring this one. This is a shotgun that's going to be working like an assault rifle. Another rocket launcher that you might want to consider in case you don't have the Yellow Cake is the Back Burner. This is a really good launcher, especially for mobbing, and there is going to be a lot of mini bosses that are going to be summoning multiple enemies, so you might want to bring this one. Of course, shock element is going to be key. Another rocket launcher that you might want to consider is the Plague Bearer. This is actually pretty good in case you don't have the Yellow Cake or the Monarch. And of course, one of my favorite weapons, the Koyosin, is an SMG that will shoot stickies, very similar to a torque weapon. It actually does a ton of damage depending on what build you have. Like I said, I have builds that I already built for these particular weapons over on my Discord server, so you want to go ahead and download them and be ready. You're more than welcome to. Another weapon that I do like is the Reflex, and I'm going to recommend the Reflex and the Brainstormer. They're basically brother and sister. Brainstormer does shock damage, Reflex does corrosive damage, and these things are going to be crucial, especially for mobbing. Highly recommend you guys pick these up. Another weapon that might be really good is the Lob. Now, for those of you who might be coming back to the DLC and don't have all these weapons or all these new weapons, the Lob is actually one that you might already have. Another one that's going to be pretty good is the Hell Shock. This is really good. It's going to be doing a ton of shock damage. Remember, shock damage is going to be crucial for here, guys, so keep that in mind. Another weapon that's really good is the Cutsman. That's going to be a very OP weapon, and it's going to be really good. And I know it got a nerf, but I believe the Cutsman's still going to be able to do a really good amount of damage. Another one that we want to keep in mind, of course, is the Boom Shickle. Now, this is actually another one that comes with shock elements, and it's going to be perfect for those of you who might not have the Monarch. There's going to be kind of like something very similar to that. Of course, I already mentioned the Brainstormer. Another one that's going to be very powerful, guys, is the Electrical Banjo. Now, this is an artifact that I'm going to talk about a little bit later on, but this is going to be very crucial because the Electric Banjo is going to be extremely powerful when it comes to pairing it with the Brainstormer, and it's going to be clearing all those blue bars really fast. Another very powerful weapon, or a very other powerful grenade, I should say, of course, is the Hex, and this is going to be a grenade that I've been using this grenade ever since it got released. Definitely one of my favorite grenades, and of course, shock damage is going to be very crucial. The Stormfront is going to work pretty well here, but the Hex is definitely my go-to one. Alright, so now that you know the weapons you want to be looking for, and those are the weapons I recommend, but if there's a weapon that you think I should mention here, or a particular artifact or item that I should mention that's going to be very good, please let me know in the comment section down below so the rest of the community can also start farming this. But now that you guys know the weapons, what type of anointments do you want to be going for when it comes to picking up these weapons? First anointment I want to recommend is gain 300% increased damage against enemies above 90% health. This is going to be extremely really powerful, guys, especially for knocking those blue bars. It's going to be doing a ton of damage. Or with the Reflex, this is going to be a must-have anointment. Another anointment that's going to be working really well is while under 50% health, deal 100% bonus radiation damage. Really good, really effective. Now, you're going to be able to run this anointment due to the fact that this anointment doesn't suffer against shields. So, since we are fighting a lot of enemies with shields, that radiation actually is going to be dealing 100% damage against shields, so it's going to be really powerful. Another anointment you want to be looking for is on action skill end, on action skill start. For example, my Cheeto build that keeps my Sentinel active every single time. So like while Sentinel is active, Cryo does 100% more damage. Those are always really good. So while Iron Bear is active, or while Face Grasp and all those on action skill ends or on action skill actives are going to be really beneficial. Another one that's going to be really good is on action skill end. The next 2 magazines will have additional 50% shock damage. Remember, once again, guys, shock damage is going to be extremely powerful. And this one might not work too much with Sane, but it could probably work very good with Amara and with Moze. These are going to be really important anointments. Another anointment that's going to be very beneficial is on grenade throw, weapon, and grenade, and action skill damage is increased by 25% for 6 seconds. These are going to be really good, especially on your Sane builds when you're using the Sentinel or you're using a Digiclone. These are going to be extremely powerful. Another one that's going to be pretty good, especially for bossing, is consecutive hits increase weapon damage by 1% per hit. Misses remove all bonuses. This is going to be very crucial, especially because since you're going to be bossing, it's going to allow you to stack this up, and you're going to be doing a ton of damage. These are the anointments that I feel are going to be very crucial. Remember, once again, shock damage is going to be extremely valuable when it comes to this takedown. I am extremely excited for this takedown. I hope you guys are excited. We will be streaming this live on Twitch when it goes live. So let me know in the comment section down below if you guys are excited. If you are, please let me know what has you mostly excited about the takedown. And if there's any other recommendations you want to recommend for the takedown, drop them down in the comment section down below. Thank you guys for watching, and I'll catch you guys on the next video.